Is it only one boat?
Yeah, everyone knows.
So you
Boarding time.
Yes, people are going down there. I'm getting barbecue if it's free.
I'm staying here.
Stay where you are. Moving you is what's going to be really.
Here, and the road was lined with drinking deadly. Hello everybody and welcome aboard the Princess Catherine. As we set off, we're going to have a brief safety announcement. In the unlikely event of an emergency, you'll be informed by means of announcement or by a crew member. Please listen carefully to any instructions given. This vessel is equipped with 2 life rafts at the rear and full life safety equipment. There are 2 exit points from the main cabin on either side of the vessel by the skipper and 1 at the rear. Smoking is not permitted at any time during your tour. There are 2 toilets located on the vessel just before the stairs leading to the rear deck. The building to the right of us is the Lowry Art Gallery and Theatre Complex, opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 2000 as part of the regeneration of the Salford Docks area. Its architectural design has been described as Salford's Knocklack Guggenheim after the famous Spanish museum. It is named after the 20th century painter L.S. Lowry, who was famous for his matchstick men style of painting industrial scenes in the northwest. Salford Quays is linked to the new home of ITV Studios and the Coronation Street set on the Trafford side of the canal by Media City Footbridge, which spans 65 metres and weighs 450 tonnes. This swings from a concrete foundation, opening up a 48 metre wide navigation channel. On the Trafford side of the canal is the new home of ITV and the latest site for the set of their famous soap Coronation 1860 and is the world's longest running soap opera. It was created by Tony Warren, who drew inspiration from his grandmother's surroundings in inner city Salford in creating Coronation Street, a working class community inhabited by ordinary people leading unspectacular lives. Ahead of us now is Mode Wheel Locks. This is the last of 5 locks that ships have to travel through when making the 35-mile journey from the start of the canal at Easton. It was here that Queen Victoria opened the ship canal in 1894 after its 7-year construction. The 5 locks drop a total of 18 metres from here at the terminal basin down to sea level. The lock we can see is the largest and deepest of the 5 locks at 4.5 metres deep, 180 metres in length and 24 metres in width. Each set has a large lock for ocean-going ships and a smaller, narrower lock for vessels such as tugs and coasters. graining docks, which could accommodate ocean-going ships of up to 535 feet, and were used for repairs and maintenance of vessels as they allowed water to be drained away. Manchester Dry Docks Limited folded in 1980 with the loss of 450 jobs. But a band of former employees resurrected it as a shipyard in 1987. Trawlers, cargo vessels, dredgers, and even an aluminium catamaran were built here before the docks finally closed in 2007, with their plate rollers, guillotines, presses and other heavy machinery being dismantled and moved to Liverpool. Beyond the dry docks, Coronation Street and Rankhover Smell is Trafford Park. This is the first planned industrial park in the world and was Europe's largest for over a century. At its peak, over 75,000 people were employed here. In 1911, the Ford Motor Company opened an assembly plant for its Model T Ford, and by 1915, over 100 American companies had moved to the park. During the Second World War, engines for Spitfires, Mosquitoes and Lancaster bombers were made here. The dock we are entering now is Nine Dock, and this was originally over half a mile in length, being the largest of the docks to be built here, stretching back to the large office complex behind the Skoll building. It was able to hold 10 ocean liners or large container ships. Manchester Liners Limited was established by Sir Christopher Furness in 1898 to counter the sharp business practices of the ship owners based in Liverpool and to encourage use of the canal. From here, the passenger and shipping company brought in goods from around the world, with Canada being one of their prime routes since the company was incorporated. On our left is Media City UK, and this is the final area of the docks to be developed. This 200-acre site is now home to the BBC, who moved here in 2011, with shows such as Watchdog, Match of the Day and BBC Breakfast being filmed here. It was developed with an investment of £650 million from the Peel Group, who own the Manchester Ship Canal, having taken control of the company in 1987. Just outside the Lowry Theatre, on the end of Nine Dock, you can see the sculpture Where the Wild Things Were. The giant blades of elephant grass suggest places beyond the canal where ships sailed to and from. This sculpture celebrates the impact of the Manchester Ship Canal, a man-made waterway connecting Salford to the sea and the rest of the world. Each steel base is engraved with drawings by local children who imagine the landscape and wildlife of far-off lands. Their sense of wonder mirrors that of Salfordians who witness bananas, citrus fruits, cotton and tea arrive here from distant shores for the very first time. The striking building ahead of us is the Imperial War Museum, designed by Daniel Libeskind in the deconstructivist style. Libeskind envisaged a constellation composed of 3 interlocking shards, with each shard being a remnant of an imagined globe shattered by conflict. The museum explores the impact of modern conflict on people and society and was opened in July 2002. The large white footbridge ahead of us is Millennium Bridge. This is a 91.2 metre long vertical lift bridge, which lifts the total length of its walkway, 18 metres, in less than 3 minutes. It was constructed in 2000 at a cost of approximately £5 million. peak was the third busiest port in the UK. Ships weighing up to 12,500 tonnes brought raw cotton, grain. On our right, a prominent site from the canal, is Old Trafford Football Ground, home to Manchester United since 1910. Although from 1941 to 1949, the club shared main road with local rivals Manchester City.
Relegation,
as a result
inshallah.
of Second
Tfuka.
World War bomb damage. It is one of the largest stadiums in the UK.
Season
and
inshallah
undergone
okay,
a
Rongo.
number of expansions in the 1990s and 2000s. But its record attendance was in 1939, when 76,962 spectators watched the FA Cup semi-final between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Grimsby Town. The concrete pillars that you can see on the water used to form part of the Swing Railway Bridge. This has now been relocated to Ninedock, Tuesday now, and became the largest owned railway in Britain. To allow ships to navigate from the main docks to the stream. At one of the few places traffic was able to cross the canal, it gave rise to the saying "getting the bridge," when people had to wait for the bridge to close. People used this expression as an excuse for being late to work. The bridge no longer swings, having been fixed in place since 1997. The soapworks to our left is a redevelopment of a Colgate palm olive factory, which closed in 2007, having one of the last large industrial sites to remain on this part of the canal. This was a detergent and toiletries manufacturing complex and utilised the canal to transport cargo. It is now home to TalkTalk, the first FTSE 100 company to relocate its headquarters outside of London. Originally built on the cotton train, the ship canal enabled the engineering and chemical industries that supported it to be expanded and diversified, so that by 1935, Manchester was, without challenge, the first and greatest industrial city in the world. The cost of transporting goods through the port of Liverpool and aboard the railways was seen as excessive by the business community of Manchester, with goods often being cheaper to transport through the docks at Hull on the other side of the country rather than through Liverpool. As such, a canal was proposed, bypassing the Liverpool docks and bringing the sea 40 miles inland to Manchester. The canal was built mostly by manual labourers known as navvies, which is railways and canals workers came from. Up to 30% of the navvies who have died during the construction of the canal. Manchester's part in the Industrial Revolution was built on the back of the city's cotton trade. In 1781, Richard Arkwright opened the world's first steam-driven textile mill on Miller Street in Manchester. Although initially inefficient, the arrival of steam power signified the beginning of the mechanisation, leading to Manchester becoming the world's first centre of mass production. In 1871, over 30% of the global cotton production came from Manchester. The next footbridge we can see is known as Mark Abbey Bridge and dates back to 1872, and this marks the border between the Manchester Ship Canal and the River Irwell. It was named after local hero Mark Abbey, who was a publican of the old Boathouse Inn and a champion oarsman. He was honoured with the Albert Medal for rescuing 50 people from the Irwell. The odd-shaped building sitting on the banks of the river is the new home of the factory and the Manchester International Festival, a £200 million art centre development designed to bring culture to the north of England, with a 2,000-seater auditorium, an 80-man orchestra pit, and a 5,000-capacity flexible warehouse venue. is the Old Quays, and this part of the River Irwell was the original dock area of the Mersey and Irwell navigation, which started life in the 1720s as the first attempt to make a route between Manchester and Liverpool. The river here would be full of small vessels, loading and unloading goods, so much so that the locals would be able to cross the river by walking between boats. The stone arches you can see here built into the quayside were part of the New Bailey Prison, opened in 1787. At its peak, New Bailey was the largest jail in England. It was an imposing Georgian building that even had turrets where musketeers could fend off assailants in the jail. As the prison population became increasingly burdensome, the now infamous Strangeways prison was built in 1866, and sometime in 1868, New Bailey prison closed.
كله sunflower هذا sunflower كويس جدا sunflower ها
We are now joined to Regent Road Bridge, one of the main routes into Manchester, and his stop of the river right and Manchester on our left. This was where the Salford Anglers Club was instituted in 1817, the world's oldest Angler society. But during the Industrial Revolution, it was said to be the hardest working waterway in England. Lined by cotton mills, factories large and small, it suffered from pollution until recent efforts have now seen a return of fish and wildlife. transferred to a Mersey flatboat before being taken down the Bridgewater to Balfour. Victorian era. It was built to reduce the time and the cost associated with transporting goods between Manchester and Liverpool by road and rail. Sea-going ships could now move from the Mersey estuary right into the centre of Manchester. The construction cost was more than £15 million at that time, and the earth dredgers, locomotives and railway wagons. The project employed 17,000 people at its peak.
Toilet, inshallah, eh? you. Thank you.